Okay.
Jamie?
It is now.
Trunk or treat again?
Oh, wait a minute, we're about to start the meeting. We're now calling the regular meeting to order. It is now 6:01. Requirement of sunshine law been met. The meeting was advertised in Burlington County Times on January 7, 2024. Electronic notice was given to the NJAC 5:39-1.5. We will now start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We will now have a moment of silence. Roll call.
Committeewoman Berkeley.
Present.
Committeeman Carr. Committeewoman Mungo.
Present.
Committeewoman Wright. Mayor Henley.
Present.
Also present, Township Solicitor, Township Administrator's Clerk, Deputy Township Administrator, Police Chief.
Resolution 10-15, 2024, resolution authorizing the Township Committee and support staff to meet in private session and authorizing the exclusion of the public from that portion of the meeting dealing with specific issue requiring non-public discussion, attorney-client privilege, personnel. All in favor?
Aye.
Are we going to stay here or going?
All right, you're live.
So, all in favor to reopen the meeting?
Aye.
So we now have a presentation from Hardenberg Insurance that's going to talk about the separation from the SHBP.
Great. Thank you for having me here tonight. My name is Joe Madera. I'm with the Hardenberg Insurance Group. And I guess the first piece of information I'm going to provide is to kind of go through the process that we went through, how we got to where we are, and then please feel free to ask as many questions as you need to fully understand everything. So basically what happens, we're the broker right now on the prescription plan and the dental plan for the township, and we talked to the administration office. We knew that you were with the state health benefits plan for the medical coverage. So the way it works with the state, there's not a ton of alternatives for folks that are in the state health benefits plan because you have an equal to or better provision. You also need to get competitive rates, so on and so forth, right? So what we do as a broker is we work with the health insurance fund. Now, the health insurance fund is made up of seven different funds in the state of New Jersey. There's 3 up in North Jersey. There's 1 near Trenton. There's the South Jersey group, which is Burlington, Camden, Gloucester County. That's the HIF that we're talking about today. There's also a coastal, two coastal HIFs as well. So the HIF's been around, I think, since 1992. I do have a flyer there that tells you how long they've been in business, that kind of thing. But it's an alternative for local municipalities, boroughs, townships to the state health benefits plan. Now, how do you get a quote? How does that process work? So you can get your claims experience from the state every 2 years free of charge. If you try to get it in between that 2-year period, the state charges $2,000 for your experience. Your experience, we had actually gotten it in the past. It wasn't that great, so we really didn't do anything with the experience. This past, I guess a couple months ago, we did get the experience back from the state. It's free. The administration office said it can't hurt to look. Let's check it out. So we got the experience. It was favorable. We send that into the health insurance fund. They come back with a proposal to us, and they say, hey, here's your proposal to deliver to West Hampton. Luckily for us, or actually happily for us, it was about a 3% savings to your current rates. So when I say the current rates, I mean the 1/1/24 rates. Okay, not the 25 rates. So it's a 3% savings to your current rates, and you're not going to, well, if you move, you wouldn't be subject to the 1/1/25 renewal with the state, which is, I think, almost 15% on the medical. 16.4 on the medical. So that obviously is an incentive. So the next thing with the HIF is they issue their proposals on an equal to or better basis, meaning that they're going to duplicate the state plans. One of the handouts I gave you kind of listed the actually there's 5 plans that your folks are enrolled in. And you can see the first plan is the Direct 10. Down at the bottom, you see there's 34 people in that plan. There's 14 in the Horizon HMO 10, 4 in the 15, 1 in the Direct 2019, and 5 with the Omnia plan. So what the HIF does is they gave us a quote to match those plan designs. So if it's a $10 copay with the Horizon Direct 10, you have a $10 copay with the plan from the HIF. Okay? The one big difference, so the plan designs are the same, but the big difference is network, okay? The state has Horizon, Blue Cross Blue Shield, as its network of providers. The HIF uses Aetna, okay? National access with Aetna, national providers. So that's the one big difference, is just the network of providers. But they do give you an equal to a letter. Wendy has the equal to or better letter in her possession. It's included with the proposal. One of the things that the municipalities look for is stability, okay? So why the HIF? The HIF has run consistently better than the state, and if you look at that one flyer over the last 5 years on the medical side, it's been an average increase of 5% over that, of 1% over that 5-year period. So it's a positive, because you want to avoid any big fluctuations, right? 2 years ago, when the state went up 23%, 24%, I was getting a ton of people asking me, can you get quotes? So I think what people are realizing, or what local municipalities are realizing, is, hey, take a shot, let's see if there's an alternative that looks attractive to us if we can get in. So one of the things I didn't mention to you is that if your experience is not favorable, when we send everything into the health insurance fund, I don't get a quote. They decline the quote, okay? Which means is you don't have an opportunity to even look at it, okay? So if you think about it, the health insurance fund is basically being very, very selective about who they let in, okay? So who comes into this fund? You see there's 52 municipalities that are part of the Southern New Jersey Health Insurance Fund, okay? Probably 3 years ago, that was around 32, so it's been growing because of what's happening with the state. So if you kind of think about it, further down the line, the way I look at it, as groups come out of the state, they're the favorable groups, right? So who's left? So the groups that probably aren't running that well. So my point being that I think in the long term, I don't know if there's going to be any relief coming. I guess that's my point with the state, is that as the good groups, or I shouldn't say the good groups, as the groups that have favorable experience find an alternative, the other ones that are left, they don't have an option, so they're stuck there, and that's why you're seeing these big increases over the last 3 years with the state. Let me think what else I can tell you. With the health insurance fund, the executive committee is run by all the local municipalities. So it's folks like yourselves. Each of the 52 groups has a fund commissioner. That fund commissioner can be on the executive committee. They can go to meetings. Typically they send me, but you can be as involved or uninvolved as you want. And the good thing with that is the executive committee of the Southern New Jersey HIF, they're the ones that make all the decisions. Okay, so the HIF doesn't really make a decision. It's that executive committee. Okay. Now, when you come in with if you were to come in with your 5 plans that we duplicate, you have complete flexibility. Meaning, if you want to look at another plan, a different option, the HIF can quote that for you and quote rates for you. You can change your plan design. You've got a ton of flexibility. With the state, the way it is right now, they could come out tomorrow and say, hey, guess what? The Direct 10 is gone. The HMO 10 is gone. Maybe 4 years ago, they basically said no more Aetna. So it was all Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield. Last January, they said, okay, we're letting this back. So, my point being that, you just don't know what's going to happen with the state at any time as far as the plan design goes. And my guess is they're going to be looking for ways to cut costs, so there's going to be some changes coming with the different programs that they offer. Let me think what else. You need to provide the state with 60 days notice in order to leave. And I've already expressed everything to the health insurance fund about that, so that when you give that notice, that's the 60-day notice that you would need as well to join the health insurance fund. The enrollment process is relatively simple. I say that, but there's always an issue here and there, but it's a census enrollment. So what that means is they take a spreadsheet, everybody's name, address, date of birth, socials, all that stuff. It gets uploaded into the Aetna system. So it's a pretty quick process as far as the actual implementation goes. And we're here to assist with all that as well. Another function that I like to promote anyway is that in addition to, you would have Aetna coverage on the medical side, but you also have my firm, my agency as your support group. So all of your employees can call us. We can help them with claim issues. We can help them with ID cards, anything that they need. So that's pretty much like a quick snapshot of it. I know I probably went way too fast, but if you want to hit me with some questions, we can kind of go from there. Yes?
Like a couple of decades ago, it used to be if you were in a private plan, not the state plan, the municipal or school had to pay to the state for those people who, when they got their pension, went into the state health benefits plan. Will we have to put some of our money towards the state health benefits plan to cover our retirees when they turn 65?
Okay, so two things with the retirees. You don't currently have any retiree coverage for non-police and fire, okay? So if you're a township employee and you retire, you don't have any retiree benefits.
But they have a pension.
Okay, but we're talking about health insurance.
Yeah, and for my pension, that's where I get state health benefits plan, medical plans.
Okay. That's different.
Well, that's what I said, through the schools.
Oh, I'm sorry. I missed the schools part. I apologize. That doesn't apply to this.
Okay.
Mike,
What's that?
one of the questions that I addressed with Joe is we have some people who retired and then looking at their how they're currently getting medical coverage and if this affects them. Of the people who are retired that would would have some type of medical coverage through us, it was one person, and that person will save money. They won't lose any benefits.
So excellent point. So we went back to the state, and this happens with literally almost every municipality. There's people that are on a plan and nobody knows because somebody might have retired 20 years ago, and you have new administration, nobody knows anything. So you guys don't have any retirees besides the police and the fire, but we went to the state because we were like, hey, we don't want any surprises. Let's see what's going on. So our contacts came back to us. I had given them a list of names. There was only one. That person's on a self-pay basis, okay? So what that means is they're not on a West Hampton invoice. They're not literally on any of your records. So they literally, when they retired, they went to the state and said, hey, I want to get benefits through you. The state said, okay, you can. You have to pay us directly. Now, I'm at a loss as to why they can't stay with the state, but the state says, no, if the group moves, then that person has to move. Now, with the health insurance fund, that person happens to be in an HMO plan, so like an HMO 10 plan, they'll get that same plan. So we know in advance that we need to set that up for one person, so we will. So that's how we would address that.
Now, Joe, I have a question.
Yes,
Can
absolutely.
we be proactive and reach out to that person versus having them reach out to us to say, hey, listen.
Can we? Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, typically the biggest hurdle that we have is that nobody knows how to get in touch with these people, because they don't, they're not here. So it's like, all right, what's their email? What's their phone?
I'm pretty sure somebody up here, one of us have to.
Yeah. So, and that's fine. We'd be happy to do that. And actually, full transparency for me, your group is like fantastic for me because there's no retirees. Typically, I have to deal with like a whole list of retirees, and there's all kinds of mailings that go out and information about the retiree benefits. So it's a lot of legwork on our part. With no retirees, it's no big deal. And while we're on retirees, just to mention the police and the fire, the Chapter 330 folks, when they move to, if you guys put the HIF plan in place, when they move, and let's say it's January 1st, and then somebody decides to retire next November, when they retire, they go back to the state under Chapter 330. So there's no gap in coverage, no loss there or anything like that. So it's seamless.
Also, some of the numbers we went over today, I believe that this plan saves the township 3%.
Correct.
Where we're paying roughly $1,006,000 change a year. This is after the deduction of the employees, if I'm not mistaken. So 3% roughly saves us $32,000. Now, $32,000 isn't a lot when it comes to the budget. The issue is going to be, or not the issue, but where the real savings comes into play in 2025. We have a letter from the state saying that they're going to increase the insurance here 16.4%, which is, approximately $164,000. So then you would add the $32,000 of the savings to that, which is typically or approximately 2 cents toward our budget. 2 cents toward our budget is $117,000 a cent. So, but what I'm saying is that's approximately $200,000 that can be reallocated into some different things, whether it be police or fire or public works or whatever that can be reallocated to where the people that work for our town don't lose any money, and the people who have gracefully retired from our town don't lose any benefits as well. So that's just some of the things that I've looked up and researched. I think I've been pretty transparent in what my concerns were when we tabled this 2 weeks ago. As far as what I was concerned about, what kind of knowledge that I needed to get. So I don't know what anyone else has to help inform us as far as what a savings look like or how it could be beneficial to us, or if it's not beneficial at all, and to be able to present that to the committee where, where we can go another direction or not. So that's just I'll say 2 cents.
2 cents. That's not a good
Current
point.
employees change.
I'm sorry?
If someone says, I have an HMO now, I want to change to something else?
Yes.
Or is it
Yep.
automatically going to stay in what?
So we would normally move them to the plan that they're enrolled in now, unless they tell us they want to go into a different
Are
plan.
you going to give them a week's notice and say?
Oh, absolutely. Yep, absolutely.
My last question.
Sure.
Tonight, we're supposed to pass a motion to give the state 60 days notice.
Okay.
At the last meeting, I said, when are we going to vote to approve a plan? I don't want to tell them we're stopping without telling someone what we're starting,
Yes.
in case something happens. So why can't we, I was told we don't vote to approve a plan.
Well,
Shouldn't we?
well, you would be based, if you approve the HIF plan, you are saying,
No improvement in motion, there's just
Oh.
improvement to drop.
so what happens is there's resolutions that get passed, so you would have to put the resolution in place. There's a letter of intent, there's like 3 forms. There's a letter of intent that says, hey, we're intending to go to the health insurance fund. There's a termination notice that gets sent to the state. That would have to be done by November 1st, obviously, if you wanted to do January 1st. And then the other 2 resolutions, I'll get over to Wendy as well. One is an agreement to join, and the other one is to appoint a fund commissioner.
Right, but we have only one meeting in November, and I'm so afraid that 60 days is going to come, and all of a sudden, we don't have everyone signed up for a plan.
So we can have a special meeting if that comes into play.
And that's what I've seen people do, like other towns
Do you
do.
understand my
Oh, I do, absolutely. And that's what I've seen other towns do, is they're like, hey, if we just have to get something approved real quick, we'll call a special meeting on another day to get that through the system. And to your point, there was another thing that I thought of, or another item I thought of when you were talking about the budget and everything else. And one of the nice things about the health insurance fund is the opportunity for the entities to earn dividends, okay? And the way that works is the health insurance fund runs, and it's like, okay, here's our cash. here's our claims, here's our surplus, okay? Every entity that processes claims and does that stuff, they have to have a certain amount of dollars in the surplus, okay? Once that surplus gets over a certain point, the executive committee for the Southern New Jersey HIF will look at it and say, hey, we're doing really well, so we're going to issue a dividend back to the participating municipalities, which is, that's part of my job.
Annuity or something
It's
like
like
that.
Jeff.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. It's perfect. That's exactly the same way. So that's actually another, I don't know if you want to call it an incentive, but it's another reason that it helps fiscally for the township.
Well, the other thing that I asked, that you answered right before I came up here, is that, so we're looking at, you stated a few years back, the state increased by 23%, and it's going to increase by 16.4% in 2025. If we now go with this new process, right, or this new program, then what do we have an assurance that they won't then turn around and increase by 30% the next year, and we're better off staying with the state? I believe that you had
Yeah, so the average increase over the last 5 years has been single digits. What I can tell you is that they do everything they can to keep it reasonable. And if you remember what I was saying before, the whole program is made up of the towns. So everybody's got a vested interest in it. And it's a pretty crazy process to try and get the budget through. But there's a lot of back and forth trying to get to an appropriate level with the renewal process.
and we're not locked in. We can leave anytime.
Oh, yeah, perfect, yes. Another good point. So, I guess two things, really. So what I can tell you is the HIF increase for 2025, so like, if, for the groups that are on that list, the medical side is 3.4 this year. The prescription got hit pretty good. It's, I think, 26% on the prescription. The good thing for you guys is, you're not part of that. Your prescription's carved out through Benecard, so you don't have to worry about that. But the point was that the medical is, again, running really well. And if you look at I think it's the last 3 years, am I in trouble?
It means we got to get out of here. No.
Everybody's falling asleep, that's what it means. The last 3 years, the claim, per employee per month claim number has gone down for the last 3 years, which is great. So I guess my point is it's trending in the right direction, to your question.
So,
Yes, sir.
can you speak more on the providers? I know you said that, obviously, the providers from Verizon over to Aetna, they're not mutually exclusive, so how many of our members can stay with their current provider?
So it's almost impossible to tell because you don't know who's, and I always tell people whenever there's a meeting, I'm like, 90% of you are going to be thrilled because your provider takes Aetna, right, or is part of the Aetna network. If you're the one person that has a person that doesn't take Aetna, you're probably not too thrilled, right? But I always say to them, like, look, I went through it with, my doctor resigned. So I didn't have an option. I had to change anyway. So it's like, what are you going to do? And then when it gets to the specialists and stuff like that, now, some people really do research and stuff, but like, I really wouldn't know, what ear, nose, and throat to go to or a knee specialist or anything. So I'm going to rely on my primary to tell me that. And they're going to put you through the program based on the network doctors. But yeah, there's probably going to be a little bit of disruption, but I think in the long run, that's very rarely been an issue, let's put it that way. I can't recall it really coming up all that much. And just so you know, like, the process, is, like, I think I mentioned earlier, it's pretty seamless, but we're there to assist. We don't have our head in the sand where we figure that, everything's going to go perfect for everybody. We're there to help. And the big thing is, if something gets messed up or it's not correct, we'll make sure that it gets fixed.
Can you save us on our prescription plan too?
Well, you know what? The prescription did pretty well this year. Now, the prescription renewed in July. So that actually went pretty well. I think you guys were at like 11%, I think, somewhere in that range. No, maybe even a little bit lower. They all kind of blend together after a while. But yeah, no, I think it's a good opportunity. And if you have additional questions, you can email me, call me. I'd be happy to, or if you need me to come back too, I can do that.
Did you give the resolutions to Wendy so we can pass the,
Yeah, did I give them to you? Maybe not.
So the resolution that's on the agenda is just to separate from the SHBP for the
Okay.
meeting. I do not yet have the other resolutions that you spoke of tonight.
I might have them with me, hold on. If I don't have them, I can email them to you.
Joe, you can just email them to me, it's fine.
Yeah, but I think
We did the intent.
it's just these two. One is to join,
Okay,
and the other one is to, appoint.
okay. Yeah, thank you.
Anybody have any other questions? Thank you, Joe.
thank you very much.
So now we will move on to approval of minutes. October 1st, 2024, regular meeting minutes. Do we have a motion?
Berkeley move?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Berkeley,
Yes.
Carr,
Yes.
Mungo,
Yeah.
Wright,
Yes.
Mayor Henry.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Department reports, construction, tax collector, court, public works, police department. Now open the meeting to public comment on agenda items only. Please remember to state your name and address for the record. Remember, this is for comment only. With no comments, we will now close to the public. All in favor?
Aye.
It's so cold, I can't even turn the page. Resolutions, 135-24, payment of vouchers. This resolution approves the payment of bills through 10/15/2024. Do we have a motion?
I make a motion.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes, Mayor, I have some concerns. If you look at the recreation bills, there's some recreation bills that I don't understand why they're for recreation instead of open space, such as cleaning supplies and toilet paper. There is, something about, the surf, doing the surf, I can't find it now. Surf reimbursement, no, Sam's. There's something about the turf groomer for $300. Why is turf groomer not under open space instead of recreation? Some of these things, recreation is for the activities that the recreation department does. The field and all the things taking care of it should come under open space. And we already took $30,000 out of open space for an employee to work on open space. And apparently the new person and recreation also is supposed to work on open space, but his salary is not coming partially out of open space. It's all coming out of recreation. And the recreation budget is just dwindling down, and soon we're going to have nothing. So there's things that I believe should not be coming out of recreation that should be coming out of open space. So that's why I'm concerned. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I would agree, we need better stewardship.
Page 9 and 10.
What did you say, Committeeman Carr?
Sounds like, we need to closely look at the spending of our rec department and the allocations of those funds.
My comment would be, so the fields that are in the rec department,
They're run by the rec department.
They are run by the rec department, but the rec department also gets income or makes money from those fields, no?
By the activities on the fields, yes.
They also, the rec department, the one field that's getting replaced, the rec department negotiated to deal through PDA to do that deal, correct?
And the rec department's not paying for that, so,
PDA is paying for it.
right, and PDA paid for the other turf, so if PDA paid for the turf and owned it, and bought it, why are we paying for turf replacement or whatever now at a rec department?
But the rec department uses the turf, right? I mean, I understand, like, I feel like it's 6 and 1 half, dozen the other. Because it all comes from either one line or the other. And I think it's our responsibility not to let the rec department run out of money, because you can transfer the money from open space into the rec trust at any time, if I'm not mistaken.
If you look right under that, those bills, it says, open space, land, field paint. So field paint was taken out of open space, not...
Where did they paint? Did they paint the turf or did they paint? And I'm not debating you, I don't really know why it's pulled from one versus the other. I just don't know if it's, I mean, I know that the Sam's thing is to put money and put the food back into the snack shop. That comes out of the snack shop,
Right?
right? So I know that that should come out of rec, because rec gets paid, they make money from the snack shop.
Right. It doesn't say where, it just says field paint, various colors, $1,000.56.
Does the rec department know anything about the bill?
No,
They don't know what their department's paying?
no, they don't know why that was coming out of open space and other things were coming out of, rec department. The rec department did not have any idea why this turf bill came out of the rec department.
The turf crew or the field team?
It says, now I lost it again.
That's okay, take your time.
Turf groomer. It's the first, it's up right below recreation adult softball. Central Jersey Equipment Turf Groomer. And I don't know where, it's,
Chris, did you guys select turf groomer, or did the rec department select turf groomer?
So what she's talking about is part of the turf room. It's probably just allocated out of a long account, I'm not really sure. It's something you just have to ask Kevin about. It's a replacement time for the fields. So it's for the machine.
So it does go to the rec fields.
right.
It's used to room the balls.
But we don't charge the police department or the fire department for the toilet paper. Why are we charging the rec department?
They do. Yes, they do.
What?
He just shook his head. Yes, they do.
They do?
Yeah.
Police? Okay. And cleaning supplies, right?
Well, I think that's the bathrooms down at the fields that they're probably talking about.
Right. I just think that we should check a little and make a definite where things come out of and where they go.
I mean, I think that's the communication between the administration and the rec department. No?
Yep.
Okay.
I tried to get information, and so I didn't come here without any blank information.
No worries. Roll call.
Berkeley,
No.
Carr,
Yes.
Mungo.
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Mayor Henley.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-1.
Consent agenda resolution note. Consent agenda items are considered to be routine and will be enacted with one single motion. Any items requiring expenditure are supported by certification of availability of funds. Any items requiring discussion will be removed from the consent agenda. Do we have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I move for A through C, I'd like to remove D.
Do we have a second?
Second. A through C.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Berkeley,
Yes.
Carr,
Yes.
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Mayor Henley.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Do you have a motion for D 138-24, resolution approving electronic tax sale?
Second, Berkeley?
Any discussion? Roll call?
Berkeley,
Yes.
Carr,
Abstain.
Mungo,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Mayor Henry.
Yes.
Mr.
Mo-
Mayor?
mo-
I'm sorry. Can I make a request that we have a meeting on the 29th of October to pass resolutions to approve a new medical plan?
Mr. Mayor, can I say we finish this motion?
I'm sorry, I thought it was done. I thought we voted.
We will now open the meeting for public comment.
I'm sorry, can we
Yeah,
call
can
the
we,
vote,
can we
please?
call the vote? Yeah.
We did. He abstained.
We cannot call the vote.
Motion passes 401.
Okay.
We will now open the meeting for public comment. Please remember to state your name and address for the record. Reminder, this is for comment only. It is not intended as a question and answer.
Okay, but I thought we can't make motions after the last public comment. That's what I was told before.
Well, no, we not.
Okay.
Ma'am, can you just stay right there? I just want to make sure Nancy's good. What did you want to do, Nancy?
I said I wanted to make a motion to have a meeting on the 29th to approve the medical plans.
October 29th?
Yes, because it's the 4th. We still have two more, it's 2 Thursdays from today,
But don't we have a meeting, we have a meeting on the 12th of November?
November.
Yeah. We can meet on the 12th.
And that will give us 6 weeks, enough time?
Yeah. Well, the 12th give us, if not, we can call a special meeting, but
That's what I was going to have, a special meeting on the 29th.
but I think we gotta let everybody, we can communicate because you gotta let everybody see what they're doing.
Okay, that's
Fair
fine.
enough? Like, I don't disagree with you. I think that we can have a special meeting,
That's
but I don't know
fine.
that we can call it right now. I'm sorry, ma'am. After you.
Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm Desiree Cancilla. I live at 45 Dover Road. Was here last time, and I'm talking about the homeless shelter again. And the questions that I had the last time I was here, nobody seemed to have any contact with the county and didn't have any information on the project. I did my own research between there and today, and I found the grant application, which apparently was approved, the loan agreement, which is attached here, and the project schedule and the application. So I realize that West Hampton has absolutely no knowledge of this. We are in month number 5 of the 12-month plan, and I checked the county records. Nobody from West Hampton has been to a county commissioners meeting in a year. So I need to know what was done with West Hampton, because they have no record of that. I am going to the county commissioners meeting. I would like an actual answer to my questions. I want to know who they emailed, the answers or not responded. I emailed the county as well. I don't take kindly to elected officials not getting back to me, but I am really concerned that West Hampton has no voice with the county. The fact that nobody in a year could pull any of these documents to see what is being built on something is a large-scale project. We are literally at month number 5. We are at the architectural planning, evaluations, renderings, and utility connections. That is where we are today, and that's really what the answers that I would like emailed to me of what was done, because the county has completely ignored West Hampton. And I really would like an answer to why West Hampton does not have a voice at the county level. Because I'm actually floored by what I found in my research over the last week. So I don't understand how this committee could not find out any information in a year. If anybody would like to see the renderings, the plans, or the actual contract, I would like to know if the county solicitor or anybody has sent any type of letter over to them asking for anything.
I don't know if you follow Facebook, but I put some of the architectural drawings on Facebook for the public to know and told them to come to a meeting to ask questions.
Well,
And
I don't really follow Facebook because
That's what I'm
a
saying.
lot of people literally just put a bunch of stuff out there. I went to the commissioners' websites, I went to their meetings. Nobody goes to any of these meetings, and you're talking about a 60-person homeless shelter that is in stage 5 of being developed in this town. I don't know, do they need permits from West Hampton? Has that been done? Has anybody looked into anything?
They own the land. They don't need a permit from us.
So, I own my land, but I need a permit to build something.
They don't, but they're using the permit for the land. I believe that Bob said the last time you were here, that if we even told them no, they would still be able to say, okay, thanks, but we're building it.
Yeah, but nobody knows anything about the time frame on this. This has been over a year. This is astonishing to me that nobody here knows anything about this enormous project and the weight that is going to fall on this township. I mean, I talked at length last time about what a homeless shelter means to this area. And I know nobody else has worked next to a homeless shelter that I have. I see it every day of what goes on and how it goes out into the community and the weight and the bearing that it has on the people's lives where they live.
Is there a difference between an emergency shelter and a homeless shelter? I'm asking, I don't know.
No, I am telling you, you can fancy it up any way you want. But the homeless shelter is going to be open to anybody that needs assistance. And I understand, and I am not against people getting assistance and care, but the brunt of this is going to be more on West Hampton. And more importantly, I live in Torrensfield. I live across the street. I am aware of all the people, and including the gentleman, because I was up there the other day when he was getting arrested again, about everybody having the issue. You're talking about every town busing in their homeless to this small area. Nobody is taking this serious. You just don't understand what the brunt is this going to be.
So this is the question I asked before. Literally, I'm relying on your professionalism with this. Where else would it go? If the human service building is right there, and you have homeless, your zip code is the 4th largest homeless population in Burlington County. Where else would you want it to go? I'm not saying I agree. I'm asking a question.
I don't think that's like for a decision for any of us. That's up to the county, but it's
Right.
up to the West Hampton residents to at least push back with the county. Like, I agree. I live on Brighton Road, right behind there. So I think that's what she's asking, is for us to just have a voice to say we want more. Like, what is this going to look like? What is the impact on our community, on our police, on this, on that? So I don't think that we would go to the county and they'd have to ask us, where else does it go? That's up to them to decide.
Right.
We're just saying we don't want maybe.
What I'm saying is that the human services building is right there.
I know that.
So I will ask you,
I don't
where
know.
else
That's
will it
not my
go?
decision.
That's all we're
not my
saying. It's not our
So
decision.
people, and they would have to, we're just saying, we're trying to say, can there be somewhere else? Maybe they need to go back to the drawing board and let them look, because we're telling them we don't want.
But I don't think they've considered West Hampton as, what are they going to do? You're talking, it's a 90-day shelter. Do you think that the people, 60 people are going to get drug addiction counseling, you're going to get mental health assistance, going to get a job, and going to get a home in 90 days? If they let them out in there, they're only going to squat here.
My understanding is, to be honest, I have asked some questions about it. And to be honest, my understanding is that they have programs that they have to attend every day for those 60 days. My other understanding is that you have approximately 2,500 homeless people who come to that building already now. Like, that happens already right now, and they don't really have the area in which to help them. Now, again, I'm not saying that I agree. I'm just gathering the information of what's going on with it.
If 2,500 people go there, all 2,500 don't stay in West Hampton.
2,500 people coming to the human services building who need assistance with it. Now, let me fix that. It's 2,500 that they service. So some are repeat people. They're not all different people.
There is going to be such an influx that you're going to be here, I'm going to say, we're at number 5, 7 months from now, you're all going to be sitting here, how many more police you need, how many more ambulances you need, how much more that you need. Because this is far beyond you're talking about saving $200,000 on your medical. That's not going to touch the amount of resources that West Hampton is going to need to put that in there. It's not going to happen. People are going to really need to, I'm more upset that there's no voice. Apparently, the Board of Commissioners have completely ignored this council. Ignored them. I remember when I vote, but, you know, I'm one of the very few people who actually check things. I don't do Democrat, I don't do Republican, I check to see who does what and when. But this council has been completely ignored, and I'm going to the commissioners' meeting, and I'm sure I'll be ignored there as well, because this is a done deal, it's getting built, and the only decision that I have to make with my family and my neighbors is whether or not I'm staying. And I gotta tell you, I've started looking for homes because I know what this means. I know what it means because I work there. I work it, I see it, I know what it means, and I told you this before. When I come home, I want peace, and there's not going to be peace. If you have that many times that I have to see the police handling the situations with the few homeless that we have in the city, imagine all of the people from these towns, because the police are going to be like, oh, we got a building for you, drive them right over to West Hampton and right in there. And when that 90 days is up and people are not going to be in there, they're going to be right here doing what they did, popping up tents in the various open area spaces that are in Tarnsfield, because it's right there. I see the people that walk through there. For the majority, they don't bother me. There's a few people that say a few things. They want some money. But you're talking on a small scale. Now you're talking about bringing in every town's homeless, because that is what each mayor in that town is going to do, is give them a free ride over to that building, and that becomes West Hampton's problem. And you don't have to agree with me, but you're all going to be sitting here a year from now, and you're going to be like, what just happened? And your budget, you think a couple $100,000 is going to do it? The county's not going to pinch in for this, because I can tell you right now that the sheriff's department's not going to be having a little substation over here with the police, because they're going to wash their hands of it during the day, because they're not there at night. I haven't seen a sheriff's car, except at that building, maybe once in the 17 years I've lived here. So I have to make a
At
decision.
the Human Services Building?
No, outside of the Human Services Building. If you think the sheriff's going to be helping out with the people that are pushed out into the community for protection, that's not going to happen. Our West Hampton police are the only ones that I see in the local area at the Human Service Building, there's the sheriff. But other than that, you don't see them. That building shuts and they're out the door. So, obviously some other people want to talk about this, but I am just so concerned that there is no voice in the county, and we've just been dumped on.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hi, my name's Audrey Kerstetter. I live at 36 Dover Road, right across the street. My concern is about the same thing. We're seeing, and I go to the library, we have hammocks. They've been there since before spring. They're not looking for help, I don't think. She's there all the time. I go to the library every hour, and she's swinging there. She's sleeping right now there. We have another guy that's over there also. We have the gentleman that's been at the Family Dollar store. I don't know how else to ask you this. I know Nancy's posted on Facebook. A lot of people don't read Facebook. They don't read Next Door Neighbor because it turns into everything else but what we need it for. Is there any way you can send out, like they did with warehouses, to kind of make people aware of this? I've talked to hundreds of neighbors at the fire prevention. Nobody seems to even know about this. Nobody is being aware of anything that's happening, except for they're asking the cop, what do we do with the guy at the homeless? What do we do with him? The guy that was sleeping behind that building in that little shed area. He was there for 2-3 years. I don't even know if he's still there.
Listen, what I'm saying is you got more than one family that lives in the woods behind back there.
Oh, I have
That's
people
set
in
up
my
a tent.
woods. I've had people in my pool taking a bath in my pool. I don't know what else to say. I want to call the cops for something like this, but that's what it's going to come down to. And then when there is an emergency, they're going to be doing what they need to do with these homeless people and not taking care of something else.
So I believe, along with, I'm sorry, ma'am, I missed your name, but blame it on my head, not my heart. But I believe that you guys can go to the county meeting and ask some of these questions, because some of the questions that I have asked is that some of these things that we're talking about, that's going to fix it. It kind of gets the information where we can't pretend like we don't have a homeless problem right now.
Absolutely.
We do. In the wintertime, I've seen they had people that plugged in over at the library to stay warm at the library right over there, right? They have people who cut off sections under the over there by the amphitheater, right? Where they have it where it's like their apartment. You have the families that live in the woods, and I'm sure a lot of people here don't even know.
Oh.
Behind the Human Services Building, there's more than one family that lives back there. Craig can attest, along with the guy that's living under the part of the Family Dollar, along with the people who stay and come in and out of the Wawa all day to use the bathroom, and sometimes just hang in there and scares the customers or scares the people who are working there, right? So I think that they think that this helps that problem. I understand what you're saying, that you believe there's more homeless people that are going to come in. I think they believe that it helps the problem that we already have because we've been trying to fix the problem for 3 to 4 years. I know that everyone's been living here. It's easy for me to say because I live across town, but trust me, across town we have our own problems. Because that Wawa over there, you have people that come from a different part of the area that stand out and harass people. I called the police on someone harassing one of the ladies that were working through the window at the Wawa.
But I think what our concerns are is everybody has them.
Right.
Okay, you go into Burlington, they have them. You go to Willingboro, they have them. Believe me, I've been in all these places. But once the hub is open, all those people are going to come here. Whether there's a bed there or there's not, they're going to be waiting for one. Our kids come home. A lot of our kids are latchkey kids. I got a granddaughter that wants to ride a bike. I can't let her go by that Wawa with that guy there. Some days he's good. If he has a bottle of wine or something, he's mean and nasty. I can't let her ride her bike there.
And I don't disagree
So
with you,
now
but
I'm
when I
following my
talked to Ferg, our chief of police, what did you say? You just said the same thing. I don't feel good letting my kids ride their bike there.
He has kids. I had his kids in my school.
Ma'am, ride their bike there now.
I can't. I can't
Right.
let my granddaughter ride her bike.
Right now, they
down
don't
the
want
block.
you don't want them riding their bike there.
Are you around the corner? Are you at so-and-so's house? Okay, I'm waiting out front to hear you in case you scream. Is that a life? They can't play basketball? I mean, there's not a lot of kids outside. Don't get me wrong.
No.
But the ones that are outside want
Right.
to play. Yeah.
But what
They're
I'm
not-
explaining is that they
And the bus
can't,
stops are right there too.
ma'am, they can't ride their bikes now. I'm not saying please, and if I disagree with you, I would tell you. I'm not shy about saying how I feel if I believe something. I'm not saying I disagree with you. I'm saying that we've had the same problem
Right, I
for
understand.
4 or 5 years. How do we fix it? Right? I've talked, how many times have I talked to you? He's not the first chief I've talked to about it.
No, but how do I make my name, without your help, do I have to make flyers and go door to door like I did to get public service to get gas in my house? And then to do the Sharkey when we had the Sharkey pool hall? I was very involved in all that, fighting for that. I was hoping I never had to do that again.
Right.
Okay, I've been in here since 1986, and I just see it going back downhill again. And we fought so hard, the people in this community fought so hard, but most of those people that fought have now moved. They have moved, whether they couldn't afford their homes anymore, or they got older and they moved to a cheaper residence area, okay? We have to make these younger people with children fight for what they want. And nobody knows, nobody's here. They just think their voice isn't heard. How can I get, whether it's you guys or the people that are running for election, to get the word out that this is coming and we need to wake up? Is it that me or is it going to be you guys? Because I'll go knock on every single door. I don't have a problem with that. So is that what it's going to be? It's going to be us against your help.
You're not against us. We live here too.
But how do we get everybody involved in this, is what I'm
Well,
asking.
I mean, like
When we had Sharky's Pool Hall, you probably were not here.
I probably was
Okay.
not. Oh, you talking about over there by the strip mall with the Wawa?
Right there at the Wawa, it was at the other end, okay? We fought it. This building was not big enough for that meeting. People were outside the doorways, fighting it.
So what happened?
Are they here?
No, I don't.
They're not here no more. They got an extension to stay open until 2 o'clock. Nobody went. People said, nobody's going to go. They didn't make money. They moved. We need to fight. We need to wake up this township. And I was hoping that you guys would be the backbone to do this. But I'm going to be knocking on doors tomorrow saying that there's a county meeting on, the 23rd? get your butts out there. And Nancy, you know me, I will. I was here.
County
tomorrow.
meetings are the second and fourth Wednesdays.
The what one?
Second and fourth Wednesdays are the county meetings.
Okay, thank you.
And unfortunately, I did write a letter to the director of the, what do you call them, commissioners, and reminded her that she had promised to have a meeting with residents of West Hampton before this came, and asked when is she going to have it, and asked her to get in touch with the administration to come up with a date. So I said, we had residents that were very upset, had a lot of questions that we couldn't answer, and only you could answer, so we need you to come to a
Well, it's
meeting.
going to get slid under the table. and
Did,
do it.
did it get answered?
Every one of us knows that.
Did it get answered?
No.
No.
And Mount Holly's not aware. Half the people in Mount Holly are not aware, because I was talking to most
Right.
of those people at another function I was at. And the people in Willingboro are just finding out about this.
But now, to be fair, so this is something that we talked about last meeting. Nancy sent the email to the director, and the director responded and said she would get back to Nancy with dates.
Did she?
Yes, ma'am.
She didn't respond to me.
You're on the email. Yes, you are. She said, I will get back. She's like, thank you for your response, and I will get back to you with some open dates.
I did not see any email from her. If you have it, would you forward to me?
You're on the email.
Yes, I can forward it to you.
She's on the email as well.
Maybe we could send out a notice to the residents saying, come to a tea party like we did to the school.
Oh, I have no issue with when the director commissioner comes here, it can be standing room only. Like, I don't have an issue.
It's my job to make everybody aware that she's coming.
I didn't say that. She didn't say when she was coming here. I didn't give anybody a free job. But fair enough. Whoever you want to speak to, you should speak to, as far as your neighbors. Yes.
But I appreciate everyone's participation. Gary Barbera, 138 Winstead. So I used to go to the county commissioners' meetings, and frankly, I got kind of discouraged too, so I sort of stopped going. But I did raise with the commissioners in public comment to see if West Hampton could get some sort of special status as the host township for many of the facilities and buildings, et cetera. They kind of, I think, sort of gave it a half-second thought, and then obviously no traction on that. Now, I may be right, I may be wrong, I'm not 100% certain on this, so I think Bob and Wendy are probably a decent-sized enough brain trust to figure this out. But to kind of speak to this lady's issue, two things. Number one, I think in 2025, when you all reorg, you definitely appoint an elected official to be an official representative that physically attends the meetings at the county commissioners. Lumberton does it. They have their person on their county committee do it. I suggested before that I think that portfolio really should belong with the deputy mayor, but that's just me suggesting that, and obviously we'll wait till the reorg. So that's something for you all to think about. But my other point is that, you know, it is hard, right? We don't necessarily have a pure voice there at the county commissioners, but they do operate by bylaws. And so here's what I'm going to suggest. Now, I haven't read their bylaws in a little while, but if I do remember correctly, check me if I'm wrong, there is a mechanism in the bylaws for us or whomever, an individual, potentially an entire community, to force an immediate vote by the county commissioners on a specific action we want them to take. If I remember, Wendy, it's, you got to go to the bylaws, it's on their website. It's probably like on the last, it's probably towards the very end of the entire booklet of bylaws. And they actually detail the mechanism to do that. So I could be right, could be wrong, I'm not certain, but that may be something we could do, is if we wanted to sort of get them to take action to at least recognize us as the host township with a voice, but we don't have a veto, I'm guessing, right? So that would formalize it and maybe improve the lines of communication. So if they're slow walking a response, or they're just unwilling or unable for whatever reason, look, let's use the bylaws. That's my suggestion.
Thanks, Gary.
472 West Country Club Drive. I was sitting back there, and I was listening to the comments that were being made with regard to the homeless shelter or emergency shelter. And I'm looking through my notes, and it's some of the same comments that were made meetings prior. Thoughts came to mind that basically said, you do nothing, you get nothing, as well as quality of life within West Hampton, New Jersey, is going to put us in a position of being not in a place that we want to be, not being a city of choice that will attract businesses, that will attract new homeowners. It will basically put us in a situation that's going to force an exodus. We know there's a problem. As we teach our children, if there's a problem, you try to seek out a solution. We don't want to find ourselves a year from now sitting back talking about crime, talking about incidences that have happened. To hear that we can't have our own children ride their bikes to the Wawa that they've been riding to for the past 2 or 3 years is a shame. That's a shame. And if we are not in a position to be able to do something about the shelter, we can at least be in a position to partner with the people that are forcing this shelter in that particular situation, so they can at least provide us with answers to the questions that we have. Additional police, additional fire, additional ambulances, all of these things. None of us want to be in a position where we go to a Wawa or go to the businesses in this area and are afraid to get out of our car, or can't send our child to the store because, you want to put a GPS on them because you don't know what's going to happen. We are in control of our destiny in terms of what we do about it. I would feel so much better if we were in a position that we said, we had meetings, we tried, we fought it, this is what the plan is, this is what they're going to do. And we need more answers in terms of what's supposed to happen. The young lady here was able to find out some really critical information as to what the plan is, what it looks like, all of those other kind of things. But I think the township has so many questions that we don't have answers to, in terms of what supportive services will we be afforded as the host town for this? And, ladies and gentlemen, are we too late to stop this? We don't know. We have a homeless problem within our own township. Is this something that's going to add to it, or is it going to be something that's going to help those individuals? We don't know. But I think at this particular juncture, it behooves all of us to make sure we do our due diligence to finding out what is this supposed to happen, what the time frame is, what the assistance that could happen. Having someone, like we said, come to the meeting so that the community can ask questions. But until then, we're just sitting by and letting something happen, and it appears to a lot of citizens that nothing's being done. I know you guys are doing things behind the scenes, but in terms of combating what we already have going on in terms of the homeless population, we need to do a little bit more about that. Thank you.
Gail, some people don't know, but last year in 2002-03, I went to the county commissioner meetings. Unfortunately, this year, the meetings are on the second and fourth Wednesday, and I have committee meetings on the second and fourth Wednesday. But even last year, they were talking about the shelter, and I brought up one. What are you going to do when we send our ambulances 5 times a day to the shelter? They said, you live in West Hampton, it's in West Hampton, that's your problem. Quote, quote, quote. Same with police. You are in West Hampton, that's what your services is. And I counted up the number of buildings on Wood Lane Road from one end to the other that is only owned by the county. And I said, you can't even pave Wood Lane Road for all your county employees that you do for West Hampton. And I said, we need you to reimburse us for all of our services. And they literally said, that's your problem. And it really irritated me. It really got me mad. So you're right. We're trying to get answers, and their attitude is, we don't have to do it, so we're not going to do it. And all I can say is, Election Day is coming for the county, and the state, and the national, and the local. But they're not giving in, unless you get 100 people going to a meeting and causing a ruckus. They don't need to be here, because we can't do it.
I understand that, but you have to get them from here and there.
We need people to go to the county commissioners meeting.
So is public comment still open?
Yes, I'm responding to her.
Ma'am, if you're going to address the committee, can you come up to the podium? Just that way the microphones pick it up on the transcript.
With no other comment, motion, all in favor to close, aye.
Aye.
Dates to remember, next township meeting is November 12th at 7 p.m. Land Development Board meeting is November 6th at 7 p.m. Historic Commission is November 27th at 7 p.m. Recreation Committee meeting, November 13th at 7 p.m. Annual tree lighting ceremony at the firehouse is December 5th at 6 p.m. Any committee liaison comments?
We have a HPC meeting in October, Mayor. You said November.
That's what it says here.
I know, I'm just letting you know.
What
And
date
also,
is it in
what?
October? What date is it?
The fourth Wednesday in October.
Thank
Trunk or treat is on October 26th. Rain date is October 27th. Anybody can come with their kids, dress up, have fun. It's a wonderful, wonderful time. Also, I will write another letter to the director of the commissioners and talk again about coming to the meeting. I might even call the administrator. So thank you for coming tonight.
I also want to thank the residents for coming and bringing your concerns to us. I think it's always good conversation. I also wanted to thank fire and police for the National Night Out. I was not actually physically over there, but I was watching from my deck, the helicopter and all, and I've heard great things and saw great things. So thank you for always hosting and doing a great job getting the community out with that.
Anyone else? So, thank you for everyone who came out. I really do appreciate everything everyone says, even though, we talk and we can go back and forth with different opinions. It's still a learning for me. Like, I think I said this before, man, when you were here. You know more about, maybe you don't know more about this current situation, but you know more about those type of shelters than I do. And I just wanted to express what my concern is now. My concern is like I told you last week, I sat in the Wawa parking lot. I talked to the Wawa manager. I got the district manager's phone number, got the strip manager's phone number. I saw the homeless person walk into the other store after leaving one store, and the cops came earlier, took him out, and he came back. I called our chief of police and asked him for his help. So, it's not that I haven't been involved. I have been involved, but when I ask people how it's going to work, and I talk about the circumstances that we're confronted with now, my question is this going to help or hurt? And then when they give their opinion, they're like, well, I think this is going to help because it'll help with this, it'll help with that. You guys have a homeless issue right now. Okay, but what about the other people that's coming in here? Like, so some of the things that I'm talking to is because I've asked questions about, what's the shelter look like? What are they going to do? How is this helping people? And then getting some answers that way. But I don't begrudge anyone who's in search of different answers or is in search of, uncovering some different things that's helpful to our neighborhood and our area. So I just want to make that part clear. And then recognizing and reaching out to our county commissioners, right? And letting them know that these things are important. Nancy doesn't have to be the only one that sends an email. Like, there's emails that can be sent to any other commissioners, honestly. So with your concerns, if you feel like you're not able to get in touch with them or get your voices heard at the meetings, you can always send them emails. With that thank you as well to our professionals who make time to come out tonight and be able to discuss and be able to, chime in with some of the things that we may not know about in town to be able to help us out. So with that being said.
Mayor?
Yes, ma'am.
I believe we all would like to congratulate Mrs. Janelle Jenkins on her recent marriage. Very proud of her.
Congratulations. Do we have a motion for adjournment?
So moved, Berkeley.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Berkeley?
Yes?
Tar? Longo?
Yes.
Wright?
Yeah.
Mayor Henley?
Yes.
Right.
Let's pass this 5-0.
Tell him to change it to Jenkins. Tell him to change it to Jenkins.
I didn't really change it.